Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. And I'm distracted a little bit because Matt, who's the first person we introduce, is scratching his neck.
I'm not scratching my neck. I pulled a muscle yawning.
That is such an American thing to say.
Yeah, we went over this offline. I went to Newfound Glory last night. I went a little too hard, hitting my entire body sore.
I've pulled a muscle yawning.
I've done it sneezing.
Yeah, like it's that one neck muscle here. It's not quite your trapezius, but it connects up there.
Yeah, I've done the one a muscle across your collarbone while sneezing. That was rough.
You ever sneeze real hard and you get like an electrical shock that goes down your arms? Should I see a doctor?
Yeah, go see a doctor for that. I've never had that.
And it's I sneeze like, a lot because hay fever's a bitch.
Yeah. Like it'll be just a really intense one and it's like a nerve cluster gets hit and I get like this tingling. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, Cara's also here.
yeah, I am.
On the DC Comics show, we're done with DC Comics. Coming up on this week's show, we have Lois Lane, issue 1, DCeased issue 3, Justice League 27, The Green Lantern issue 9, Batgirl 36, Adventures of the Super Sons number 12, and Superman Up in the Sky issue 1. That is the books that we're going to talk about this week. And I don't know if we noticed it when we talked about what was coming this week, last week, but I had completely forgotten that Batman would get pushed if we did talk about it, because I was like, where's Batman?
We didn't, because you've moved to a new system of just using previews.
That's true.
And now you don't notice what's been pushed. It's just, well, is it coming or not?
Yeah, that's true. There's ups and downs to the new system. There's ups and downs.
That's not a down. That's an up. It doesn't matter. It's not there.
It's a down, damn it. It's a goddamn down. So it's a relatively light week. Week 1 is not quite as late as week 3, but we did ask for a few questions on the Twitters. I did leave it a little bit late, I'll admit, so we don't have a ton of questions, but we'll milk the ones that are there. It's fine. We'll make do. And Connor said there was one bit of news. I don't know. But DC Comics show. We talk about DC Comics. If you want to skip the rambles and the small talk, you can skip to the books and the time stabs. But for those of you who are here for the rambles, you will be hearing no football talk this week. I am putting my foot down, and if they do talk about football, I will edit it out. I am making that pledge right now, so no one gets to enjoy it.
Oh my!
Well, it looks like it's being interspersed throughout everyday conversation.
yeah, just in the middle of every book. Just while we're talking about the book, we'll drop in the disappointing fact that England are out.
So
that's not disappointing.
Quick, so Alex Morgan, who's the girl that did the tea thing.
Yeah.
She became my favorite soccer player because last year she went to Epcot in Disney World and she did the drink around the world, and she got so drunk and disorderly she got put in Disney jail.
Oh, I love her already.
Yeah. So, she and funnily enough, she was kicked out of the British Pavilion. The UK is where she got drunk and disorderly. I read that and went, "That's our girl."
Yeah, that's good.
So, Connor, it's not coming home.
I told you, it is. We just asked you to hold on for 4 more years. Polish it up. We'll take it. We'll bring it home in 4 years.
Oh man. Hey Pete.
Yes.
G1 today.
G1 today, indeed. I'm just tweeting about you two talking about football. Hold on. Those 2 idiots have started football talk. 5
Hey, we got like numerous tweets and comments saying, this is now partially a football podcast. So you have to just accept it.
It just doesn't. But G1's today, which is the big Japanese round robin tournament and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's fun.
If everyone watching this, it was yesterday.
We got, for the first time ever in the US, Okada versus Tanahashi. So should be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Probably won't see it live, but I'm looking forward to it.
No. It's live here on normal US time, but usually when I watch these, I fast through all the prelim matches because they're all tags and stuff. If I watch it live, I can't do that. So
I get to the meat.
I'm in a conundrum. Yeah.
I get to the meat. Dear. I mean, I know it's blasphemous to talk about Marvel things before we even get to actual DC things for the week. But they did just announce that Feige's going to do a 90-minute panel at Comic-Con, presumably announcing Phase 4. That's the assumption right now.
It's just him sitting at a table not doing anything. Because you know why? He's Kevin Feige. He doesn't have to.
4 movies behind at this point. So, whatever.
God, you're terrible.
What was the last one? I saw Black Panther. What was after Black Panther?
Black Panther was Infinity War.
Oh, okay, I saw Infinity. I think Infinity War was the last one I saw.
That's like five. That's like 5 movies then.
What was the one after that?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
And then Captain Marvel, Endgame, Spider-Man. Okay, 4. No, it's 4.
That's 4. Yeah, so I'm 4 movies behind.
That's 4. Yeah. No, Spider-Man was pretty good for everyone who was curious as to my opinion.
Apparently they weren't.
Well, talk to you. I was talking to the audience. Yeah.
I know. I'm just presuming.
Yeah.
Also really good. Stranger Things season 3.
Shut up.
I'm not saying anything. I know not to spoil.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I never binged, but on the 4th, they were there, and me and Ash went for it.
Well,
so
you know, I would love to binge Stranger Things, but me and Connor have to do it one by one for review purposes. So we're 2 episodes in, and I'm enjoying it very much so far.
Oh, Pete, this season goes very, very much into your wheelhouse. So.
Oh yes, I've been making some predictions in episode 2. We'll see. Oh. We'll see. Oh dear, I love it.
This might be the first time in a long time where I'm ahead of you guys on something, and it's weird.
I know, it's strange. But Matt, I love a good, after closing hours mall like set scene. I love a good that.
What's funny is people are all talking about like malls and like how they're different now, and I didn't think about it. And when you look at the mall on Stranger Things, it's very much of a time, and how much stylistically different, at least the ones here are, that it's just not the same. But yeah, it was always weird to me when I would see movies or TV shows and the movie theaters were in a mall, because all of ours here are attached to casinos. So
that's just a Vegas thing.
Yeah, and so I'm like, huh. So, in that first episode, which we can, talk a little bit since you guys have seen it, they're going into the mall to see Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
God, just the old movie theater too. The low back chair, everybody's crowded in. It's nostalgic for a time I don't remember.
I get that because I wasn't around at all in 1985, but I do enjoy.
My mom was pregnant with me. I did the math. I was born in October '85. It takes place in July.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yes.
I really hope you didn't have to think long and hard about that, maths.
I did. Okay.
She was in fact 6 months pregnant. I'll do the math properly.
Yep.
Assuming you came about on time and not early or late.
No, I was actually late, but still.
Or late. Well.
I was late by like 8 days.
That's not much. Not much. Yeah. I was late as well, actually. I think I was like a week late. Now you mention it. I think we're both in the same.
And our stubbornness has continued on. It's funny, my wife's original due date, because hers is in November, was on Halloween. And she held out. And I said, man, you would have been probably so much different if you were born on Halloween. So, she'd be like Wednesday Addams. Right? It's like default.
Or a serial killer. One of the two.
How do we know she's not right now? I don't.
That's true. That's true.
She watched a lot of Dateline. She could probably get away with it for a while.
Every time Matt gets suspicious, she's cheating because she's like, I'm going to be at work late. She's actually out killing people and stuffing bodies under the house.
Oh, man. It's so funny.
It's why she won't let you get a target. She's off to kill someone.
Yeah. She's got her own target in mind. She's got a target.
Oh, I'm texting her. I'm going to text her. I know what you did. So I end up missing, guys. Start with her.
It's always the spouse first. It's always the spouse. Oh dear, yeah. What a weird place to start this show on. I mean, Connor said there was some news. I didn't see the news, but Connor's got news.
Well, it's only a small thing. It's DC are adapting some Rooster Teeth shows. It is Ruby, that's the RWBY, and Genlock. Genlock's pretty new, I think. Actually, I think that only came out maybe 6 months ago.
Be the resident old man. What's a Rooster Teeth?
Kind of like an IGN, but they do a lot more content creation. But they don't usually do shows. They usually do like, there are a series of like web shows and like kind of podcast style things. But they do some like animated TV shows as well.
Basically, they're a much more successful version of us.
Kind of, yeah. But they have so much more going that I wouldn't.
Sure, they have scripted shorts and things like that as well, admittedly, but
yeah,
I've never seen any of them, but yeah.
Yeah. So what they're doing are 2 digital. I don't know if they're digital first or digital only series. They'll be doing alternating the 2 books weekly, so there'll be a new digital chapter every 2 weeks of each one. I'm just trying to skim to see if it was just a straight adaptation or if it was a new story in there. No, it's not saying. It's a big block of text. I'm not going to see that. But yeah, I know there are some people who really like this, especially Ruby, who's been going for a few years now as a real dedicated following. I've heard good things.
Okay. So we'll get into a few questions then. Keep the happy vibes going. We got one stupid one from at Tufty_W23, and I say stupid one because we know him. He's James. He's someone we converse with on a frequent basis.
This is the most James question I've ever read.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes. What kind of?
Connor, all you had to say about Rooster Teeth is they did Red versus Blue. I know that.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I forget what all their shows are. They've got so many things.
Yeah.
What kind of phones do Superman and Batman use?
I feel like Superman's still stuck in an old Nokia.
No, Superman's got Clark. He's a reporter. He has an iPhone that he doesn't know how to use.
You say that, but I know like a police officer who literally had a Nokia until the police went, "No, we are giving you a goddamn smartphone because we are sick of it."
I think he's got an iPhone like XR that he doesn't know how to work. Like he's just like, I remember when phones were just for calls.
Yeah, and yeah. I feel like Batman has like some experimental tech that he's designed himself because he's Bruce Wayne and no one else has it.
He has the Wayne Tech Bat phone.
Yeah.
Paid for it with the Bat card.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you think Tony Stark in Avengers is using just a consumer product? No.
Man, when the first Iron Man came out and he had that flip up that turned into a T, I was like, it's the phone I want. Then I realized they just designed it for the movie, and it's actually pretty impractical.
Yeah. Right? It's also kind of insane how that was kind of futuristic in 2008, but now it feels so ancient because it's so blocky, and you're like, no.
Well, then now it's his, it's Friday, and all of his tech.
No, it's only
assistants.
It's only futuristic now if it's a sheet of glass. It has to be glass and maybe some holograms coming off the glass. Yep. That's what makes it futuristic now.
Yeah, like an iPad that just looks like a pane of glass with a border around it.
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm sure. Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah. Well, I remember a couple of years ago hearing that they developed gas, like it's like circuitry, but it runs through gas, like
as opposed to silicon.
Yeah, but it's super expensive to do, so it wasn't that practical. 4 years ago.
I imagine theoretically, it's more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it's more efficient.
Efficient, yeah, because the gas molecules are further apart. So
right, and it doesn't heat up. So
yeah.
But yeah, they developed a way to do the circuitry through gas. So that's how you would get what would look like a pane of glass. Which now you're just talking. Now it's just magic to me. Like you might as well be a sorcerer.
Oh, we'll get there.
Oh,
and just I'll just add a bonus one just to round off this question. Miguel uses a rotary phone. So next question. What? That's accurate.
Jimmy uses the Signal watch.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got a bloody smartwatch now. Anyone can get one of them.
But does yours call Superman? No. So
Can
shut
do
up.
if I put a dog whistle on it.
No, that's how you get dogs.
All right. So here's some other questions there. All right. So this one's more for you two than me, admittedly. But this is from at Talking Superman. What areas of mythology would you like to see more folded into the DCU? Examples he would give would be Mesopotamian and Gilgamesh, in particular interacting with Superman. So what, like,
Gilgamesh with Superman would be real interesting.
So I have no answer for this really.
I'd love to see a further exploration of all the Celtic stuff that we got in Brave and the Bold.
Don't
That
make
was
me
good.
say it.
I get a feeling there's going to be some Vikings here in a minute. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we touched on that a little bit with do we have Valkyries in that Amazon book, Odyssey of the Amazons? Yeah, but
Yeah.
more of that would be great.
I loved over in Superman New Superman, the Asian mythologies getting used. You know, how Yang used the North Korean outsider thing with the Korean mythology for their version of Aquaman, and then he had Green Snake for Wonder Woman, and the story of White Snake, which weirdly is being developed into a animated. I forget who's doing it. They're doing an animated movie based off of that story. So
Cool.
That should be pretty cool. Yeah. I like all that. I'd love some Japanese mythology. Because mainly I don't know a lot of it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like creatures, Japanese.
Yeah, and they're very much like things. So I listened to the Myths and Legends pod, and he has a creature of the week.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Japanese ones are a lot of fun because they're like the toilet demon that just offers you extra toilet paper.
Is
there's no consequences for.
Is that the one where if you don't take it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's no consequence for taking it, but if you do not take it, it gets real bad for you.
I mean, that just sounds helpful. Well, what was so bad about this, David?
That's why I love the Japanese mythology in that way, where they just have like these creatures that are just like, wow, that is only in Japan. You know, there's one of my favorite ones is the scarred face woman that something happened where she ended up scarring up her face, and she'll go around asking you if you think she's beautiful. And it's a no-win situation because if you say yes, she'll kill you and scar up your face. And if you say no, she'll kill you and scar up your face. So
if yes, she scars it because I'll make you beautiful as well. And if not, she's just insulted.
Right. And so the way about it, you just kind of have to answer, I mean, yeah, kind of. And it short circuits her, and you have to, but there's so much stuff in there. There's another story about a crab that he planted a coconut tree, and a monkey took advantage of it, and the monkey ends up killing the crab, and the crab's son swears the blood feud, and it's this whole thing that I would just love to see, like, Detective Chimp deal with. You know what I mean?
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So I think Japanese mythology I'd love to see. I don't know how that would relate to Superman because again I'm not that well versed.
I don't think it would. Yeah, I don't think you'd do it with Superman. You'd do it with other characters that maybe fit better into that world.
Also, I would love Detective Chimp because that story of the crab and the monkey involves a sentient pot of water and a sentient chestnut and just like stuff that I could see Detective Chimp dealing with.
I feel like in general you have the people in Justice League Dark investigating these weird Japanese horror stories. Yeah. That's essentially what you're saying. I know.
Man, that versus the toilet demon, he doesn't know what to do.
Obviously my mind's jumping to movies, so I'm thinking of like Sadako versus like Wonder Woman trying to like cut through the hair of Sadako and just not knowing what to do. Sorry, Sadako. Okay, I always say it more like Sudoku, and I shouldn't. It's Sadako.
But have you got like no mythology at all that you're familiar with?
Not real stuff. I mean, does Loch Ness count?
I mean, that's more folklore.
Yeah.
Folklore, mythology. It's all the same made-up nonsense. Do you know what I found out recently? There's a Canadian version of Loch Ness Monster called the what was it called? You seem to know.
Ogopogo.
Ogopogo, yes.
Yeah.
What idiot named it the Ogopogo?
Well, because it's based off of the lake that it's in. It's
Who
short
named
for
it that?
Ogopogo. I'll tell you right now.
Who named the lake? That's a stupid name.
Ogopogo.
I'm pretty sure it's a First Nations name. So, I mean, it's from the language of whatever Native people were there.
I don't really know much about mythology. It's never been something I've really looked into or
Oh, I love it.
read up on.
Yeah.
Not my thing. Not my thing. If we're talking fictional mythology, sure, give me some xenomorphs or something. I'll pitch you that story.
Yeah, unfortunately they're licensed, and therefore you have some problems.
Well, you know what? In 10 years, Disney's going to own DC anyway, and they already own Aliens, so that won't be a problem then.
Uh-huh.
You know I'm right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they won't be allowed to.
Accept the joke and move on. Don't be a prick.
Okay, so apparently Ogopogo was just given its name from a poem about it.
Am I allowed to laugh at the name now?
Yeah, you can. It's in British Columbia, so it's on the west coast of the Okanagan Valley. So, yeah, good old Ogopogo.
It's such a friendly sounding monster.
Well, that's just like in the Congo, there's Mekele and Bembe, which is for me just fun to say. But it's apparently an apatosaurus that survived and lives in the forest, and it knocks down trees, and the natives are scared.
Of course.
Yeah, so. No, I do love all that cryptid stuff. I don't, as we all will know. So.
Oh dear. All right. So the last question, well, not directly DC related, should actually be quite me because it's quite a packed question. From @CoreyYNWA, what is your favorite movie from each of the following genres? So we're going to have. So I'll just give you them one at a time. We could do this. No, but there's no sci-fi. That seems like an odd exclusion for me, but whatever.
He obviously just doesn't give a shit about sci-fi.
Maybe not, or maybe he just forgot about it. That's fine. So, action. Matt.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I'll accept that. That's what I was about to,
because I don't like straight action movies. I don't love a lot of them.
There's no adventure on this list, so I think you can count action adventure.
So if I can't pick that, right, then it's Die Hard.
Aye, my pick's Die Hard, I think.
Yeah.
Because Die Hard.
Yeah, I would probably lean more towards Raiders myself, but I wasn't sure if I was allowed it or not.
It's a perfect action movie, Die Hard is. So I mean, well, that one was quite quick. I thought it'd be more.
Well, so you take Die Hard over Terminator, or you throw Terminator in the sci-fi?
No, Terminator sci-fi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd say Terminator was more of a horror movie than an action movie every day of the week.
Okay.
And I literally just recorded a review of it the other day, so I've really been thinking about it the last few days.
Gotcha.
Okay, horror. I'll start. Halloween. It's an easy pick. All right. It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Original Halloween. John Carpenter's Halloween, 1978.
Yes,
I'll make that clear.
Yeah. See, this is annoying because that is also mine. It's been on all the lists we've done. So I'm trying to think of something else to say just to have a different answer. Do I have a list up of what number 2 is a lot harder to think of than number 1.
If you're really curious, me and Tim did a top 100 horror movies list on Screams After Midnight a couple of years ago.
Do I have a favorite horror movie?
4-part video series. Get a nice broad taste of idea of my taste in horror. Come on, Matt. You must have one.
Just say American Werewolf in London.
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah. No, Psycho. Psycho is horror, right?
Yes, Psycho is horror, yes.
Yeah, well, because some people might class it as a thriller and not a horror. Yeah, I'll go Psycho over American Werewolf.
I would agree that Psycho is better than American Werewolf, yes. I think Psycho's a 10. Psycho's in my top 10, probably.
Yeah.
It holds up no matter what. We just watched it on Halloween, and it's Yeah.
Have you seen the bit where they put the music from It Follows over Psycho?
No.
No.
Oh, that's good.
Is it just over the shower scene or over the whole movie?
No, it's like, you know, over all the stuff in the car.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's over that, and it's fantastic.
That's a good piece of music though too in the car.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to look this up when we're done.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's no dissing of the actual Psycho score here.
Oh
but yeah.
no, it's just an alternate thing that's worth looking at.
Yeah.
Well, it's just one of those ones where like I don't want to watch the movie if that music's not there, right? Like they go so hand in hand,
Oh
Yeah.
sure.
you know. But yeah, all right. What's the next? Oh, did Connor give his?
I'm just doubling down on Halloween because I can't think of what my
Okay.
number 2 is.
Yeah,
so-
Halloween's pretty good too.
All right, historical.
The Aviator. I mean, it's more contemporary history, but some people call it a slog. I love it.
I never really think of this as a genre, so I'm going to have to actually just
Yeah,
Google historical films and get an idea of what I'm looking for.
Does Raiders still count?
Is this more just period pieces or is it specific historical events?
I don't think period pieces count. I think it's specifically like based on a person or an event. I would assume. Oh, I've got a good answer. I'm just checking to see if there's anything better. You know, Gladiator's great, Braveheart's great,
Yeah.
and all that, but I think I'm going to have to go with 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, that one sits with you.
Yeah. Well, I just think Steve McQueen's a fantastic director. That movie's a goddamn gut punch after gut punches. I ain't forgetting it anytime soon. Oh, come on. Google King Arthur from 2004 is a bit stretching it in terms of historical.
I mean, it does lean into the, Romans fleeing the British Isles narrative of King Arthur, but that's where the historical
It is
stops.
stretching it a bit. I'll go with Ben-Hur, the original one.
That's 4 hours of my life I'm not getting back.
I love that movie.
First Man's on there too. That's
Yeah,
a bit too recent. I'm still gonna go Aviator.
Yeah, First Man. I know it's weird to think of stuff in the last few decades. I mean, that's like 50
Yeah.
years now, but it's weird to think of stuff in the last few decades as being historical, but it kind of is in a weird way.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, I'll go with 12 Years a Slave. You had Ben-Hur, and Matt had what did you have, Matt?
The
Aviator.
Aviator.
There we go. All right, that's historical. Western, Matt.
Oof. I don't watch a lot of westerns, so I guess I'll have to go Tombstone just because.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
I
but
do like Tombstone. I'll be your Huckleberry.
I have an easy pick actually because I love the Dollars trilogy for sure. Like they are some of the best, but Once Upon a Time in the West is my favorite.
Yeah.
I think I might go a bit more contemporary and go with the Coen's True Grit.
Oh yeah, I like that movie.
I love that one. That was good.
I watched one last year for when we were doing the movie fest contest.
Yeah.
Pete, and I watched The Salvation, which is a recent western with Mads Mikkelsen about a Danish settler that gets wrapped up and goes to commit revenge.
Was it good?
It's pretty good. I forget who
There's
the
been
director was.
a handful of good westerns over the last couple of years. Slow West was real good.
I didn't see that one, but I would recommend Bone Tomahawk if you want a western with a slight horror tinge.
Yeah, it's a B movie in the best way.
Yeah. In fact, the director who did that, I believe it was the same director who wanted to do Brawl in Cell Block 99.
And
that was
Dragged
great.
Across Concrete.
And Dragged Across Concrete.
Yeah, that's his newest one with Mel Gibson and shit. Wedding Crashers.
Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn, thank you. I couldn't think. I kept wanting to say Owen Wilson. I'm like, it's not Owen Wilson. It's the other one. What was the Salvation?
Oh dear. No. So.
There's one from Ty West also with Ethan Hawke that's pretty good.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
In the Valley of Violence. That's another contemporary one that's pretty good.
Yeah. Western's not a genre I tend to watch a ton of either, but I do really like Sergio Leone's westerns, and there's the odd other one that kind of sticks out.
Well, see, on that the whole thing of the movie fest was to search out things you haven't seen before, So that's why I found all these new westerns to watch. Because
there was bonuses for different genres, so you were trying to figure western. Do you know what's bugging me is that it wasn't called Movie Fest, and I can't remember what we called it.
It was based off of Oktoberthon.
Yeah.
But I forget what the name was, but yeah, I watched a ton of stuff.
Yeah, we haven't done one of those.
That
was last year. We haven't done one of those in a while. There's probably no point in doing one anytime soon because we're relatively close to October again now. But I'll keep it in mind for early next year. We'll do something.
Because we did a sci-fi one as well at one point.
We did.
Yeah.
I think that might have been last July, maybe.
Yeah. So it says I should have had July's set up for.
I think we did have one last July, didn't we?
I can tell you because let me go back into my notes from last year.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I feel like I remember one.
If anyone's confused what the hell we're talking about, basically, this came from Oktoberthon, which is the idea of try to watch as many horror movies in October as possible. But I made up a spreadsheet of point bonuses for if you do say 5 of this subgenre and 5 from this decade and so on and so on. It was basically turning movie watching into a competition. It was basically if you're someone who plays video games and loves the sound of a trophy popping, that's what I was trying to.
Yeah, so it was in July last year, but that wasn't the sci-fi one. Sci-fi one was the July before.
Right. Okay.
It's the one we've been doing this stuff.
What was last July then?
That was the complete. It was genre. So you try to watch. You get 5 sci-fi, and you get bonus points if you haven't seen them before versus stuff you'd already seen. Western all the way. Then there was the decades.
So that was the general movie fest one.
I think that was the one that I did more of the grid-based sort of point system though, where it was you watched the movie and you got the point for that year as well, but then so you wouldn't want to do the same year again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this got real complex, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it was just in the Multiverse Facebook group. Every so often, Pete's like, hey, let's just... He gets... Basically, he realized he hasn't watched enough movies recently, and it's like, hey, I need an excuse.
Well, I think that's where it started, but then it really became a competition, because I know Joseph in the group really went out of his way one October to defeat Pete.
Well, the fact is I never won the Oktoberthon. I was always just maybe number 5 or something like that. I was happy just...
You're the marked man though. You're the one everyone's trying to beat.
Tim's a tough challenge in the October one.
Yeah. Because Tim will watch anything with horror, and it doesn't matter. He loves Leprechaun.
Oh, he does. But I just want to point out. I mean, me and Tim, the review we did for Leprechaun 2 just went up last week, and several people have said it's the most funniest review we've ever put up. So if you're curious, it's the best of me and Tim. Go watch the Leprechaun 2 review. Or listen to it on the Screams After Midnight audio podcast feed.
And don't worry about spoilers, because it's Leprechaun 2.
It's Leprechaun 2. He's trying to get a wife, and if he makes a woman sneeze 3 times, then, she'll sneeze once, she'll sneeze twice, and if she sneezes thrice, she'll be my bride.
Wife.
Aye, whatever.
Thrice and wife does sound closer than thrice and bride.
It does. I just realised I didn't know what the word was at the end. All right, look, just...
You're like Jean Ralphio. you got to end on the beat. Yeah, I know.
Don't compare me to John Ralphio. How dare you?
There's worse to me. Those two are brilliant idiots. I love him and his sister.
No. I'm more like John Ralphio's cousin from another mother, Steve from Stranger Things. Thank you very much.
Yes, Steve. He's the babysitter.
He is.
I don't think Pete has the hair to pull it off.
No,
I don't have the fancy hair. He's really proud of his hair, that man. But
you guys have met Robin yet, right?
Oh yeah. Robin's great.
Do you realize whose daughter that is?
Now you're saying it, I'm looking at her. I'm trying to think of her face.
Yeah, because she's got a familiar facial structure.
Yeah,
she does.
Do you want her name? And you want to try to base it off of that?
Go, give me her name.
Her name is Maya Hawke.
Ethan Hawke's daughter?
Yeah, and
Uma Thurman. That's their daughter. And then when you look at it, you're like, "Oh shit, it is," because she looks like both of them.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, because I was watching it and I was like, "Where do I know her from? I've seen her in things." And then I pull her up, and she's only like 20 years old. I was like, no, I haven't seen her. Oh, but look who her mom is.
Yeah, it's all standing to reason.
Yeah.
It's all standing to reason. So the next genre on this question is teen movies. I know Connor's a big advocate.
Yeah,
This is a layup for me.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I'm not thinking of that I would maybe pick. But I think my answer to this is actually Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
No, me and Earl. Did you say Earl or did you say Daryl? So on my end, it sounds like you said Daryl.
I said Earl.
You definitely said Earl.
Yeah, me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
It's because of
I
your
can
accent.
see what. Yeah, now Matt said it, I could hear what he's hearing. I never even noticed.
Okay, me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
It's me, Earl, and the Dying Girl.
Okay, me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. Whatever.
There you go.
You know what I'm talking about, Matt? The movie with.
Fair, it is actually me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That movie messed me up so bad.
Look, that is the only movie I've ever watched where the teen's like main character trait is that he loves Werner Herzog movies. All right, I connected to this kid immediately. Think of Beauty.
Yeah.
Think of Beauty.
Connor, what's yours?
Mine, Pretty in Pink.
Oh wow.
Oh, of course it is.
Mine's 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that movie. For some reason, as a young lad, I watched that on pay-per-view, as a kid, and was into it for some reason. Even though I didn't typically like movies of that sort because they were girly movies when I was that age.
I have a sweet spot for teen coming of age.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I watched it because the younger sister in it was the actress who played Alex Mack on Nickelodeon, and I had a crush on her. So I think that's why I watched it.
Yeah, that one and Mean Girls, I think, are two of my favorites.
That's great as well.
Yeah. So no, me now. So Pretty in Pink, you said, right?
So you're Pretty in Pink over 16 Candles, Connor?
It's close.
It's pretty divisive.
16 Candles is my second favorite. But yeah.
His third favorite is Porky's 2: The Revenge.
Hey.
All right, next genre and final genre, although I may add on some extras just for the fun of it here because I'm enjoying this conversation, is rom-com. And he's emphasised, yes, that's right, rom-com.
Yeah.
Well,
this is easy too.
Actually, it may be easy for me now because I think my easy answer without thinking about it is The Big Sick.
Yeah.
No, that's yeah. I didn't even think about that one.
I think that's my easy answer without thinking about it, but maybe you guys will spark something else. Matt, what are you going for?
Oh, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's in my top movies of all time.
Ah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, so that's easy.
All right, Ginge.
About Time.
That's a good one.
That's good.
Curtis has a knack for those because I also love Love Actually. But that's really not so much a rom-com as much as it's a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when Corey says, "You seriously, that's right, rom-com," I don't think he was expecting you to immediately be like, "Oh, I'd love Actually." Oh no, definitely this one.
I can reel off a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, me too.
How to Lose a Guy.
To be fair, I think
10
Things I Hate About You would also fall under rom-com as well.
10 Things, Say Anything, 51st Dates.
But I won't say that.
I've seen a ton. Well, Pretty in Pink's on this list too.
Yeah, I mean, again, I class it as a teen movie first, but yeah, there's
Sure.
rom-com elements, sure.
Sure. All right. Right. Answer for sci-fi because he's an Egypt and he's not put sci-fi in. Egypt is a Scottish word meaning idiot, folks.
It's not just Scottish; it's a British word.
Okay, fine. It's a British word. I've never heard an English person say
Is
Egypt.
it like it's like how someone idjit? Or is it a different thing?
I don't know. I've never heard someone called an idiot.
Okay.
I
It's
imagine.
like,
Football
yeah,
coach
you're
just
an
yelling at
idiot.
us.
Yeah.
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 Bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same then. Yeah, no, it's a British thing as well, and Irish say Egypt a lot as well.
It's spelled like EEJIT, I think, if I remember
Yes.
correctly. Egypt. What about Dauber? Dauber's not English. That's a Scottish thing.
I've heard that used quite a bit though.
Maybe it's spread.
No, I hear it a lot in Yorkshire. So
Oh, Yorkshire, still different from Scottish people. How dare they?
All right, so what's qualifying under sci-fi?
sci-fi movies.
Yeah,
Is this
your
okay,
option.
but, like
Your
Star Wars count?
Of course it
yeah.
does.
I mean,
Okay.
It's debatable,
Well,
really, isn't it? Because
well, I know
it's
what
a
Connor
fantasy
says.
movie.
I would
but
still
yeah,
count it, but yeah, like
to not count it, you're just being awkward for the sake of not counting it, aren't you?
yeah. Although for the sake of interesting answers, how about you give a second pick as well if you're picking Star Wars?
Can it be a second Star Wars movie?
No. You're picking a Star Wars movie, then something that's not a Star Wars movie.
All right, hang on, let me check.
I have two,
Go on then.
and I can't pick. It's Jurassic Park and Back to the Future.
Fine choices. Fine choices.
Yeah, it's
Fine choices. I have an obvious answer for this that I always pick, which is Aliens, because Aliens is the perfect movie, and I will hear.
See, I'm looking. The last time we did a sci-fi list was January 2018. So I'm just going. So unless there's something that's snuck in above that since then, I'll take this for as what I did. 1 and 2 were Empire and Star Wars. So
yeah.
So number 3 is Alien.
Fine choice. Fine choice.
There you
Also a 10. All these
Yeah.
10s. Oh dear. What's your favorite foreign film, Matt?
Oh fuck.
You've seen foreign movies?
I'll probably have to go with Pan's Labyrinth. That one's pretty good. Yeah. It's in Spanish, Pete.
I'm aware.
I
He's
watched it
just not a
without
fan.
subtitles, not realizing there were subtitles, because the disc that I got for some reason had them shut off.
My face was just because I don't like it that much. It wasn't because I was
Oh,
doubting the
gotcha.
authenticity
Gotcha.
of its foreign status.
Let me see if anything else strikes to mind.
Uh,
Wait, Guy Ritchie counts as foreign, right?
no.
Hey, Cockney is basically a foreign language.
Because then I have to go Snatch, because I don't know what they're saying half the time in that movie.
Okay, I'll make this very clear. Foreign language, and no, Cockney does not count as a foreign language.
Hey, what about Pikey?
Oh, that's really trying to stretch this.
Yeah, it's just Pan's Labyrinth, and that's what you go with. Connor.
18 best films, period.
I'm gonna go with Throne of Blood, but I will throw in a second. Is let the
Sounds
right
metal
one.
as shit.
What, Throne of Blood?
Yeah.
It's a Kurosawa adaptation. of
Yeah,
Macbeth.
Samurai. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, 13 Assassins is dope too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
good.
Yeah.
Did Matt just pick a Takashi Miike film? I think he did.
I think
I
he did.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only one I've seen, but
Oh, man needs to watch Itchy the Killer. He needs to watch Itchy the Killer right now.
that fight scene in 13 Assassins that goes on for like 20 minutes.
It's longer than 20 minutes.
Oh,
It's more like 45.
It's amazing.
so good. Yeah, the dude that lives in the forest that comes out, I've never related more to a character. He just wants to fight.
All right, I'm gonna go with Diabolique.
Excellent choice.
That's good too. I've seen that one too.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I made you watch that one.
Yeah?
No, it's just it's a perfect thriller. It just is. It's so good. I mean, as much as I hate to give the French points for something, I kind of have to here. I kind of have to because that movie's fantastic.
Old boy messed me up.
Oh, Old Boy's great.
That's great. Yeah.
Old boy messed me up.
As is Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, which I know Matt hated.
Did he?
No, I like Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance.
Did you?
Yeah, that was the brother and sister one, right?
Yeah. And it switched halfway
didn't
through to the
hate
other
it.
guy.
I didn't like it as much as Sympathy. No, not Sympathy. What's the one with the secret agent that goes and terrorizes the murderer?
Oh, I Saw the Devil.
I Saw the Devil. I like that one too.
Yeah. I think it's just a cop. I don't think it's a secret agent, but I knew what you meant.
Okay. Yeah.
That was
It's like special forces or something. Like he's not just a regular cop.
that wasn't the same director. That wasn't Chandwick Park. That was
No.
someone else. I can't remember off the top of my head.
But Old Boy's in it. He plays the killer.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, the actor's there. Yeah. So no, it's good. Any other genres that I feel are left out?
You gotta go comedy.
Did we not do comedy?
No.
Oh, the comedy was
Rom-com.
comedy was on the list. I just skipped it then. Sorry, I thought we'd done that.
Oh, I was? Oh, shoot.
Yeah. All right, comedy then. There you go.
Oh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Love that one.
Change.
I'm thinking. I don't really watch a lot of just straight comedy.
I'm actually just
movies.
going to my top movies on my letterboxd and then see what the top comedy is. So that's my tactic here. That's my tactic. Nice and easy. Where are we? My top 200 films. There we go. Easy peasy.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
So it'll be a Monty Python film.
Life of Brian.
Well, that's the question. Is it Life of Brian or is it Holy Grail?
All right.
Mm.
What's the other one? There's a third one where
And now for something completely different.
I think it's Meaning of Life.
Meaning of Life, yeah.
That one's not as well received, but that's one of my favorite segments in it, where death comes.
Yeah.
And they bore death to death.
Yeah. No, I think
I like that sequence.
I'm gonna edge it to Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of a fight between Ghostbusters and Hot Fuzz. Because
You could do a lot worse.
Yeah, like I mean, for me, like typically all my favorite comedies tend to be things that are like only half comedies because they're mixed with like more of an actual plot as opposed to just a straight comedy. But yeah, I love those two.
Yeah, I always said Ferris, so I didn't bring him back up forgetting Sarah Marshall, but Ferris, The Hangover. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but it still makes me laugh.
Not a fan of Hangover.
Yeah, that'd do it for me. All right, and then the final one.
Step Brothers.
The final one I'll add on here just to make Connor look bad. Matt, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Don't say Die Hard. Don't say Die Hard. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
I appreciate that pick. It gets a lot of flag for just copying the first one, but I enjoy Home Alone 2 a lot. So
that brick scene, I don't care if it makes me a sociopath. I lose it. I have lost it every year since I've seen it. It makes me laugh. Marv probably has long-standing brain damage. But, oh my god, then he has the brick indentations in his forehead for the rest of the movie.
I know.
It's a toss-up between that and Christmas Vacation.
Do you know what I like about Home Alone 2? I like that Kevin makes the choice to intervene. He doesn't have to get involved, but he makes the choice to be a hero. So as similar as it is to the first film, the character arc for Kevin is...
Yeah, he's proactive versus reactive. He's very reactive in the first. But, yeah.
Yeah, so...
it's a toss-up between that and Christmas Vacation.
Plus,
Christmas Vacation's another one.
Tim Curry's fantastic in the movie as well. Just may I add
the Grinch face when it fades into the
Yeah. That said, I do feel a little bit of a shudder now when it gets to the Trump cameo, and I'm like, ugh.
Well, and you know why that was, right?
Oh, it's this hotel.
Yeah, and that was a thing. If you wanted to shoot there, he had to have a cameo.
Of course. Anyway, Connor. Well, I didn't really pick one yet, but I mean, in a way, I guess it's Die Hard, but I guess to make it more Christmassy.
Die Hard 2.
Well, I don't know, because when I was a kid, it was Home Alone and Die Hard. Those were the movies that I was watching for Christmas growing up, for the most part. But I'm going to be a little bit offbeat here, and I'm going to say Silent Night, Deadly Night. Get in. All right. Punish. All right, Connor, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
I mean, it's Die Hard by default because there's not really any others I like. That said, I have not seen Anna and the Apocalypse yet, so maybe that can win me over.
Yes. Why don't you like other Christmas films, Connor? Explain that to the audience.
Because I don't give a shit about Christmas, and Christmas films they're all got the same theme, and I'm bored.
Because he has no soul. It's a quick answer. I love Christmas movies. So you tell me you don't like Love Actually, Connor?
It's watchable, but it's far from what I would call a great movie.
Oh man.
Oh well, on that bombshell, I guess that'll wrap up the questions and this shambles portion of the show before we get to actual comic book discussion. All right, so we'll start off the books this week with our, what I guess we'd call our headliner, Lois Lane, issue 1. Greg Rucka writing with Mike Perkins on the art. So we've got a new number 1, big exciting number 1 to talk about. Start of a 12-issue series, and it's very much set in the world that we're in right now in the DC universe, although Lois does seem to be doing her own thing in terms of the plot. Because I know Connor might have been concerned that it was going to be too tied into...
I actually checked with Matt, because if it was dealing with, Event Leviathan stuff, which was maybe a sense I got in the special,
Right.
about a few weeks back, whenever that was now. So I did check, with Matt. I was like, okay, how tied into it? He said, it's referencing, the events of Superman, which is fine. But if it was going to be with the event itself, I probably wouldn't have bothered.
Well, no, instead it's dealing with lots of real world stuff, like pretty blatantly.
Yeah.
We have...
It's a Rucka book.
Yeah.
I got to the end, I was like, why was I surprised?
Yeah, we have a death of a journalist in a foreign nation. We have, the White House representative being, basically charged at by Lois in a questioning way at one point, and calling out the bullshit and all the lies. And there is some stuff with Clark and whatnot.
Yeah, which from all the political stuff I consume, that is how you're supposed to, the press is supposed to be, the fourth estate, right? Like they are supposed to hold people accountable. Whereas now news has kind of just become an arm of whatever political party, right? And so the fact that Lois is trying to do what the press should do, that when a White House correspondent tries to shut you down, someone else picks up that question.
Yeah, and she got kicked out and blacklisted and barred from coming back in, and that happened to someone a couple of years ago now, right?
Yeah,
it was a big story at the time.
Yeah, the guy from CNN, Jim Acosta.
Yeah, that was it.
But for basically doing this, for be like, well, no, you need to answer these questions.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that Rucka puts in journalism in how it's, quote, supposed to act and what it's supposed to do, instead of, it's the whole tail wagging the dog thing, right? Now they're being jerked around, and because they're so afraid of being seen as picking a side, when what they should be on the side is I don't want to say truth, because that's, in this day and age.
I think the default position for a journalist is the opposite position of whoever you're interviewing.
Right.
Like, no matter who even if you personally happen to agree with them, the default position of when you're questioning should be, right, let's scrutinize that, so you take the opposite angle and kind of prod at them to get the answers. That's just how it's supposed to work.
That's not what Trump likes, though. He wants softballs. He wants a nice, easy little...
Because he's a moron.
And that's what... see, this is where the real world's going to bleed into this stuff, because with the day and age of the news now, they're afraid of being shut down because they're afraid of losing ratings. When originally news was never about ratings.
Yeah.
But with the proliferation of social media and clicks and all this, that's all they care about now.
Yes, and it talks about some presidential tweets, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not mincing about what they're really talking about here. I do love that Lois at one point could just publish things on Daily Planet's website by herself without any editorial oversight, and she's upset that Perry took her publish button away. He's like, and for good reason. You should be thankful with your spelling errors.
Did you disable autocorrect?
You can.
She goes, you can do that?
Yeah, you can turn it off.
I did love the idea that Perry's like, look, it's not even about the story. You publish whatever story you want, but please send it to someone for proofreading first.
Yeah. Send it to a copy editor first. And I love how he's like, bludgeon is not spelled with 2 O's.
Just like, isn't it?
And I love that this is, and I don't know how long this has been going on about Lois being a bad speller, but decide being a
forever.
Pulitzer.
Well, it's from at least the original movie, because there's a joke in the original movie about it. I don't know if that started it, but it's definitely...
Maybe, but that's, I mean, like, it's been so long now that it's just a core feature.
Much like her purple eye color, I like how it's become an intrinsic, like Lois Lane.
Do you know what
feature.
I like about the spelling thing is because it actually happens in a couple of books this week because it happens in Up in the Sky as well.
Yeah.
Where they meant she'll say, oh, how many this letter in this word, and I then look at the word and go, where does she think the second one is? And I'm looking at it because I'm looking at bludgeon. I'm going, maybe it's at the end. She thinks it's like bludgeon.
No, she thinks it's BLOO.
But as in like blood.
Like blood.
Gin.
Blood gin. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's what I love.
The
Because
next
she's doing
one got
it
me, though, is
phonetically.
collusion only has one U. Where's the second U in collusion?
Yeah.
I think that's meant to be at the end. It's like the IOU,
Yeah.
and I think that's what she thinks.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Collusion.
Right. Okay.
It just shows how ass backwards the English language can be at times.
But sometimes I can't comprehend to being a bad speller of that degree because I can't figure out how do you misspell it that badly. Like I can't understand.
Yeah, because for the record, I would classify myself as not a good speller, right? There's certain words that no matter how many times I've had to look up to check the spelling when I'm putting them into a document or whatever, I still don't remember how to spell them.
Do you know what I learned last week?
What?
Maltesers only has the one A at the start. It's malt, and then it's not EA, like as in like the word tease. It's just one E. Malt, MALTES. And I know because I was putting them out at work, and we update on our list, and someone went, "Oh, how'd you spell it?" And I went, I said Maltese EA, and they went, "No, it's not." And I went, "Of course it is," and they're like, "No, computer's telling me it's wrong." I'm like, "Well, computer's chatting shit."
Matt,
You ever type out words?
Matt.
The computer was saying it was wrong, and I was like, "Computer's chatting shit. It's not." I went and checked the bag. No.
You ever type out words and then it just looks wrong, but autocorrect's not picking it up, and you're like, "That's how you spell that?" I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but
yeah. Yeah, for the life of me, one day I will remember how actually to spell restaurant, but today's not that day.
The one that gets me is annihilation. I always think there's an A and an H at the beginning. But yeah.
Yeah, there's H later, but yeah.
Yeah.
Dear, I don't know, but yeah, Lois and Trevor as well. So she has her deep throat conversation. Yeah. She's sending deep throat on, and don't worry, this looked like a question of sorts. But they saved the reveal till later that which question it is.
And again, it's Rucka. Why are we surprised?
I know. I mean that's true, but she wants information because the journalist who died kept backups of her stuff and whatnot in Russia.
We should talk about the journalist who
Mention it's
died.
a Russian.
Yeah, as they're saying, it looked like a suicide. I think was what they were claiming.
Mm-hmm.
She's been depressed on the official record, but she was actually bad mouthing the Kremlin. So three guesses what actually happened.
And suicide doesn't look like you were thrown out a window. Suicide has a very different look.
Yeah. She fell down an elevator shaft onto some bullets.
Yep.
It's an accident.
Exactly.
Yeah. So her and Clark have a because there's a reference at the start with the maid, who says, "Oh, you going to have company later?" It's like, "No, I'm a married woman." It's like, "Yeah, but you had that one kiss." So it's referencing the kiss that's been going around the news and Superman in Action. And later on, some guy calls Lois a slut when she's walking with Clark, and Clark's obviously not very happy about it. And he's like, "Well, I don't like this. I don't like that you're getting all this shit for this." And no one says anything about him. No one says anything about Superman. It's all about you. So Rucka's not.
Well, she goes, "Yeah, because I'm a woman."
Yeah, Rucka's not afraid to shy away from talking about this. So,
I did want Superman to tie that dude's truck, and I don't know if he has a truck, but wanted Clark to tie his truck into a pretzel. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I mean, I think I like it because her reaction to it is obviously she's not happy about it, but she has this different attitude to him because she's at some level used to this, just used to how she's treated, and whereas for him it's like this culture shock almost of like, wait, what? People speak to you this way?
It's an enlightening or an enlightenment to Clark.
Yeah. So sure enough, Renee Question is in Moscow and beats the shit out of the Kremlin's bad guys who are trying to find the info. And Yep.
I also love the part where Perry is basically telling Lois is like, look, I know you have your Pulitzers, I know you're Lois Lane, but I care about you on a personal level, and I think you dig too deep right now. It's a different time. So I like that Perry. I love that relationship there.
Mm.
You know, it's like, yeah, he's the news editor and he wants to break stuff, but he cares about Lois more than he
He
cares
doesn't
about
want his
the
reporters
story.
at risk.
Yeah. So no, and I love Renee's introduction here. Actually, she sort of like comes up behind him, and she goes, "Dark, it's night, it's the forest." We get the silhouette of the hat, and she just says, "Wrong question." But I mean, she's like, "Oh, my Russian's not very great, so that might not have been exactly my catchphrase." Did my best. And then the scene at the end is the one we talked about with Lois in the White House getting kicked out. But of course, she does get all the other journalists to continue the same line of questioning, so she achieves kind of the upset that she was looking for, in a way. So, and that's the end of the book. It's her walking, head held high from the White House. So I think it's pretty clear the sort of issues we're facing in this book, what Rucka's wanting to explore, even if obviously we're going to be, looking into whatever this journalist in Russia had uncovered, but, outside of that, we don't really know exactly what the plot's leading us in this book, but...
It's the Lois Lane book I've wanted for ages, so I'm super happy.
Are you so enthusiastic, Connor? You feeling it?
Yeah, no, I'm into it. I've been positive on everything in this conversation. Thank you very much.
I'm just asking because you were being quiet. I was
no, but you said it in a way that implied that I've been positive all this conversation, negative all this conversation.
You were. I implied you were positive all this conversation, just like you just said. Yes, exactly.
Shut up. It's a slip of the tongue, and you know it.
No such thing. So, what about the art? What about the make Perkins art?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
it's nice and moody.
I like the moodiness of it. It's not like I like Perkins a lot. I think he's a very dependable artist to this style. I think that he's like a really solid 8 out of 10 artist for me. I don't think he knocks it out of the park the same way that a Malieve would have done this book
I think he suffers on the odd facial reaction.
Yeah.
All the stuff with his shadows is phenomenal, but there's the odd face that just looks a bit funny, and I think in a book like this that does matter more than some others.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt, what are you giving it?
I'm giving it a 9.
9. Connor?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an 8.
I'm
going to be a coward and give it an 8.5. So
that's where I couldn't decide what to do, 8.5 or 9. I want to edge above.
8.5. That's very good. It's very, very good. So that's Lois Lane, which will take us on to DCeased, issue 3, Tom Taylor writing with Trevor Hairsine on the art. So, how did Tom Taylor... Oh, let's play his jingle. Hold on.
Tom Taylor.
So, how did he break our hearts this week? This book read so quickly. It was over before I knew it.
That's my biggest problem, is the pacing. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think I would typically say it's. If you feel that there's no story advancement, I guess you could argue it's a bad thing. But ultimately,
I do feel the story gets advanced through here because we see the fallout from the last issue.
Yeah, it's kind of if you watch a movie and the time goes in quick, you never doubt it and say, "Oh, I didn't like that because it felt like it was over too quick."
Yeah, I think it's different in comics because you get in one chunk a month and you go, "Am I getting my money's worth?" Is why people typically question it more in comics.
But so Alfred's leaving the corpses of all the Bat people.
His boys.
Oh, it's so sad. He's blasting zombies with rockets. Alfred's doing his whole thing. Harley is running from Joker, grabs a shotgun, and blasts Joker in the abdomen. That's him. And then she's like, that was the most cathartic thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my main problem with this is as a Barbara Gordon fan, I'd like to think that she wouldn't have gone down so quick. to this virus.
I mean, you say that, but Bruce went down. It's not like it's knocking her. She's a techie. She would have been on her phone or something. She'd have been one of the first to go because she wouldn't have seen it coming.
What I think's
I don't
interesting
know.
is that she has her Burnside costume when the Birds of Prey shot with Catwoman here, and they're all zombified.
Yep.
You know, it's interesting. No, obviously no, but Black Canary because she's with Green Arrow, but
Right.
Batwoman's there,
Well, the Green
Catwoman's
Canary.
there, yeah. Or sorry, Green Canary now, yes.
Yeah,
of
the
course.
Huntress.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then Harley's all, I guess we're hunting. We're hunting
We're
birds.
bird hunting.
Yeah. Very good. But then we get to the emotion, the real emotion of the issue, where Damien's just sitting and brooding, and John tries to talk to him, and the Superman's talking to Lois. He's just like, you know what? Is his father's son? He'll find a way to get past this because that's what Bruce does.
He'll persevere.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I do love that John goes up to him just so he doesn't have to be alone.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you don't want to talk right now, but I want to be here with you.
Yeah.
It was a very nice sentiment. And if I didn't know any better, I would say Tom Taylor really doesn't like the Bat family because it's Alfred and Damien now, and that's it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like he probably does love the Bat family because he did do that Father's Day issue. I mean,
No, I know. I'm being
Yeah.
facetious.
But this is the whole thing where people used to say, "Oh, but he didn't like Superman because he did Injustice." I was like,
yeah.
clearly he does.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, this issue is mainly Superman focused from this point on because Superman needs to go back to Smallville. He's going to clear the building first, and we see him running around grabbing people, and he blocks one of the entranceways to the building with the Daily Planet globe, and it's all this stuff. But so we follow him. We do cut to Atlantis first, though, where Garth is doing fine at first, but then Aquaman comes storming in. With all the zombified sharks, and as soon as the blood in the water touches Garth, that's it. It's over.
When they inhale it, it's like, okay, that's in the system now.
Yeah. So
what gets me is Mara basically getting on him about not being able to hold it back. She's like, "Well, your name is Tempest. You live up to your name."
Yeah. And from now on, your superhero name will be Mild Weather Event.
yeah. Poor Mara. She's left on her own again. This is like, I feel like every Aquaman story recently, she's been left to fend for herself.
Yep.
Yeah, but she's fine. Luckily, she can just push all the blood away from her in the water because she can just,
water bending.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's very true. Very true. Clayface is infected, and he's just a big blob.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Tentacles everywhere.
And it's grabbing into the helicopter with Black Lightning and his family.
Yeah. So they're still alive for now. Superman's directed them to Daily Planet, so they're going to go on their way.
Yeah. And this whole thing with Superman is he's constantly right. I need to go home, but he can't ignore all these people on his way.
Yeah,
he can't just let them go and deal with his own problem. He has to stop and help everyone.
Of course. So he eventually gets to Smallville, and we get the shocking revelation that Martha's okay, but Jonathan isn't. Jonathan got turned, and Martha had to lock him in the barn. So Superman has to go in and just, I mean, I don't necessarily love Hairsine's art, but I will say I do love the completely silhouette of Clark walking in the barn. You just see the S on his chest. I really like that panel. But he goes in. Obviously there's a lot of references to horror movies in the covers and the variants and stuff like that. But this is very Evil Dead, having the door on the ground, the trap door with the padlock. And Superman opens it, and Jonathan's just a zombie.
Yeah, and he goes to reach at him, and Clark just
Moves his
basically
head
keeps
out
him
of the way, right at first.
Oh, rough times.
Yeah,
I thought that the heart attack death for Pa Kent was bad. This is worse.
Yeah, and he has to.
It's Clark just being too late and knowing he can't do anything now.
Yeah,
he has to weld the door shut with his heat vision. So he comes out, he's like, "No, sorry, Mommy's gone, we have to go." And that's the end of the issue. He flies off with Martha. And the issue was called Red Sea, which is brutal. So yeah, it was a super quick read. But
it was, but everything in it was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed every single page. And it's one of these fun things you can do with the Elseworlds where you can just do all these wacky things and just not worry about it or care that they're killing people left and right.
Because why not, right?
Yeah. I will say on the variant, I get they're picking like horror movies that Warner Brothers own, but The Nun, really?
Yeah, so my shop
Yeah.
So I've been getting these the horror movie ones because the first two have looked really good, and my shop didn't order any of these because they didn't think anybody would buy them. So
Nah, I think
yeah.
the fourth one's The Conjuring. So we'll see.
That's the one shot, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, it's the one shot. Sorry, that's the.
that's what I
Conjuring.
thought. I know it's
Yeah.
coming up soon.
Yeah,
So,
it's the one shot because it's the deceasing.
You're right. You're
Ah,
right.
that's
You're
right.
so right. Yeah. I can't wait to see what 5 and 6 are though. Their variants. I want to know what movies they're going to pick.
What? Yeah. What horror movies do they have that they haven't used yet? Do you know if that would be
Well,
right?
it's Warner Brothers with New Line. They've already used Freddy. They've already done 2 Conjuring universe movies. I mean, they could just keep going down that path and do like an Annabelle and
Well, the first one was the Nightmare.
yeah.
What was the second one?
I'm trying to remember. Get Googling. Get Googling.
Yeah.
That's going to bug me. But I mean, I think they technically still own the rights to some of Friday the 13th, so they could do something with that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what New Line have because it's a shorter list.
Yeah.
Looks like they've at some point distributed Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That'd be a good one.
I don't think Warner own that now, though. I don't think they have that.
Yeah.
Because none of the recent like Blu-rays or DVDs or anything like that have been from.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street.
We've used that
They
already.
did that one.
Oh, we did that one. Yeah, you're right.
That was the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the really good Ivy one.
Just looking for anything that's particularly notable. See if anything jumps out.
You seen what issue 2 is yet, Matt? What movie it was? I'm forgetting.
No, I clicked on the wrong link. I'm looking right now.
All I know is bugging me now.
Yeah, no, this computer. When I'm accessing Skype, it
Yeah, they did do Jason Goes to
Oh,
Hell.
it was the It one.
Of course.
I think It was number 1. Nightmare was number 2.
Yeah, that makes more
And I'm
sense.
in
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it was
So-
like one of the first images released for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have those 2, and now I just have a regular cover for 3, but I think that's okay.
Because it's the Nun.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, obviously they do own Exorcist, so I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see that be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they have standing there where the priest usually stands on the poster
Alfred.
with a hat? Yeah, it could be Alfred.
Yeah,
Alfred with the suitcase for
Yeah,
Damien.
that'd work.
there you go. There you go. But no, DCeased is very good. We still don't know the identity of the narrator. I think the winning favorite right now is John, an older John Kent. Talking about
Or
the past.
Damien, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be. I'm expecting one of the kids though, just cause it feels like it makes sense. It feels like it's right, but I could be completely wrong though. Of course.
The horror variant for 4 is Final Destination with the Teen Titans. It doesn't look good.
Eek.
And that's as far as it'll go. The DC's Good Day to Die, Connor's the Deceased.
Yeah, that's the best one yet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what are we rating this issue then, Matt?
I'm going to give this one an 8.
Connor?
8.5.
I'll give it an 8. So there you go. DCeased issue 3. Which takes us on to Justice League issue 27. James Tynion the 4th writing with Bruno Redondo and Javier Fernandez on the art. So this follows up Jean being kidnapped by what looked like Lionel Luthor, although it was in fact a robot created by Dr. Ivo, who has been working on tech and wants to create this apex predator, which is a fusion between Martian and human. And we got Amazos all over the place this issue.
Yeah, but they're kind of half-baked Amazos.
Yeah, half-baked.
Not quite Amazos.
Yeah. All rightos.
Yeah, all rightos. Meh-os.
Yeah.
And then we have Hawkgirl eventually shows up and sort of helps him fight. But it's Jean remembering these tests that were done on him as a kid by Lionel.
And this stuff's fine. But it's definitely not the interesting side of the plot, is it?
Well, I believe you're referring to looking for monitors.
I believe I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Justice League find the Monitor. And they reiterate some stuff about crises and
Yeah.
there was lots of monitors because there were so many Earths and it kind of split up to do that. But he's kind of since the Dark Multiverse has popped back in, he's reformed into one person again. Intriguing
Yeah.
stuff.
And then they
really-
reference all let's say they're referencing the previous crises, and he's like, hey, Barry Allen, you of all of them should feel the echoes, the chill of death.
And and we get like a little tease of him dying in Crisis, which
and him kind of having like that deja vu of remembering it.
Yeah, deja vu indeed. Yeah, no, this was fun. I will say the page where they all arrive on this planet, or just the page we first see them, with what's his face? World Forger. No, the other one. Is it the World Forger?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay. All right, I was doubting, for some reason I was doubting myself. Yeah, it's a World Forger. Yeah, because the other one's the Anti-Monitor. Duh. I will say I think the art on that page looks pretty bad.
Do you think?
It's kind of scratchy.
The
right?
head,
Like, sketchy.
Superman's like body shape is really weird to me.
Is that a weird angle?
It's
I'm not
like
sure if it's a weird shape.
it's like a toy where the chest and arms are one piece and they've been slotted onto like an abdomen, which is like a piece that it slots on top of. But because of that, the abdomen looks much thinner than the rest of the body feels it is. Flash's head feels a bit off. Wonder Woman's head feels a bit off. I don't know. I just think that page looks a bit rough.
I give you Superman's body. I don't agree on Flash or Wonder Woman's heads. Those look fine to me.
Yes, that's fine. Need an eye test, maybe, Connor. Join me and Matt in the spectacle race.
My eyes are fine.
The one panel that got me, and I don't know if that's what they were going for, is that when the Monitor says they have to go to Quard, he looks sinister.
He does. He looks sinister, and Quard's a fun one because I don't know if it originated here, but I'm assuming it did just because it's so early. But you actually get Quard in the first few issues of the your Silver Age Green Lantern. That's when they first, before they even introduced the Anti-Monitor, they introduced Quard and the Anti-Monitor verse.
Yeah.
So that's fun stuff. But yeah, so that's where they're going. But yeah, and the Monitor even before that though, he looks really sort of sad and pathetic. Like he's really out of it.
Yeah, well, because Nil is all destroyed, and Nil was the Monitor. I guess you could say control room. That Morrison introduced in Final Crisis, and after. So.
And you say, he has kind of given up. He's like, well, what's even the point in fighting them?
Yeah.
Perpetua's too strong. She's already getting stronger. What's the point?
Yeah. Atom keeps having dinosaur issues in the lab because they're messing with the things.
Yeah. I love the panel of Superman being inspiring to the Monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the suns coming in from behind him. The hope that together we might make a difference.
Yeah. So no, they're experimenting. Mira runs off to help, and it leaves Jean and Kendra's kid.
Shane.
There you go. With Wonder Man.
Starman.
Sorry, Starman.
Starman.
Yeah, why did I say Wonder Man? My head's away with it today. Yeah. Wonder Man's not even a DC character.
No, not close.
Do you know what it is? I think it's just the outfit. The outfit's just a bit lame. And I thought Wonder Man. That's what it is. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Anyway, yeah. So he ends up cheering the kid up and being like, "Hey, why don't you come help me with what I'm doing? You're not supposed to exist. That makes you kind of special, and whatever." Yeah. So the kid's all happy. But yeah, so Jean is going after Ivo and destroying Amazos left and right. But they end up getting a message at the end of the issue from Lex Luthor, because Kendra's actually doubting that he's alive. He's like, "No, Jean, leave this obsession go." But then they get
because Ivo doesn't seem to think he is either.
Yeah, but a little robot comes down and does a hologram, and it's Lex's voice, and he's giving an offer to Jean. He's like, hey, you could have me. I'll give you me. Of course, Lex is going to have a motive. He's got an ulterior motive.
Something in return.
Because he's Lex Luthor, and that's how his mind works. But that is how the issue ends. This was a relatively solid issue. I think the stuff with Maisel and Jean was entertaining enough. The stuff with the Monitor was interesting. None of it set my world on fire. It was a solid read. I did not have a bad time reading it, but it didn't exactly get me super excited either. I don't know how.
No, I happen to agree. I think I perked up a bit when we were talking about Crises, and there's the echoes of remembering. Everything else it was solid. It was kind of by the numbers for this stage of the story, kind of moving things along, setting up the next bit of the investigation for the different threads. But it wasn't anything mind blowing. It wasn't any huge big things.
Yeah.
I like the stuff with Shane and Starman though, because I feel like Shane's going to be important with this Perpetual stuff later.
Yeah.
Because what he's setting up here is he's the opposite of Doom. He is hope personified. He's a possibility of what could happen, and it's what you decide to do with that. So it's almost like this free will thing.
Yeah.
So I like that's being seeded here.
Yeah. All right. So I thought the art was really inconsistent in this issue. Having the two artists probably
didn't help. No.
Yeah, something to do with that more than anything. Yeah. So a bit uneven on the art side, but not a bad issue overall to read. Matt, what are you giving it?
I'm a 7.5. The art is a little bit of a hang up, but other than that, I did like the story.
Connor?
Straight 7.
Yeah, I'm going with a straight 7. Well, that'll take us on then to the Green Lantern issue 9. Grant Morrison writing, Liam Sharp on the art. Connor's on solo for this, so.
This was a biggie. So, we introduce a whole new superhero team in this issue. Because we start just with this catastrophic event going on in space, and different heroes coming and responding and trying to help. A bunch of them die, and it's going really badly. And then we cut away to Throne World, which was, I think that was the home of one of the Starmen. Yeah, Starman from the 80s, 90s.
You're talking about the Mikhail, the blue one.
No, the Alien Prince dude.
Yeah. Oh. God, there's so many of them.
It begins with a G. I'm forgetting his name.
I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's that, and it's the headquarters of the United Planets Superwatch. And so I did a little check on, because all these members, I'm like, okay, I don't recognize any of these members. Who the hell are they? Because this is Morrison, so he hasn't just invented 20-odd characters for the sake of this. He's gone and dug them all up, and it's from old Silver Age issues, mostly of Green Lantern, and
so like he did with the last one.
Yeah, but this is, all of them are now formed this. Basically, some of them had one issue to them. Some of them apparently they only showed up for 1 or 2 panels ever. And the idea is that, okay, after those adventures, they actually went off and all of them formed this superhero team, the cosmic superhero team. So instead of just having space cops with the Green Lantern Corps, we've actually got a space superhero squad now in present day, as opposed to the Legion in the future.
So the character you're talking about is Prince Gavin.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Michael Thomas is the other blue alien guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh. So already this was a huge. This is the first 4 or 5 pages of this issue, which are fantastically rendered. I should say the first page in particular is gorgeous. The colors as well. Oh man, there's something else. But yeah, so we've got a new superhero team, which was cool. And then we cut away to the planet Athmora, and there is an evil sky wizard called Abanazor, kind of causing some problems, and Hal is there dressed up in medieval kind of knight armor. He is referred to as Sir Hal of the Lantern, because his ring doesn't work properly on this planet. There's something that interferes with the energy on this planet.
Probably
it's
magic.
Probably, yeah. It's just inconsistent. It's not like it doesn't work entirely, but he can't rely on it. So he's in like armor. He's got an actual sword. There are all these flying beasts going on, and they're having these fights, and it's fantastic. And we're having this fight. He's riding a dragon kind of thing, and he's having this fight with Abanazor. And it turns out it's like, hang on, you kind of recognize him. Abanazor is Abin Sur. But he's not talking, he's attacking, and you're like, what's going on? Hal does beat him with a fantastically rendered sequence with Green Lantern swords. And it turns out he's got this like pendant on, and when he takes him off, when he takes it off, he kind of recovers. He's back to normal. The pendant has the Black Star logo on it. So they're still in play. The controllers are still kind of messing with things, it seems. But this Abin Sur kind of talks. It's like, oh, you're Green Lantern of Earth Zero. That this is who I was sent to find. And it turns out he's from Earth 20, I think it was.
It's the Magic Earth, right?
It might be. I can't remember which Earth is which. I'll be honest. There's a lot of different things in this issue that kind of come together. So forgive me. But he talks about how the League at the start, the Superwatch sent out like an SOS. They needed help. And it turns out it's he is risen, the Mad Lantern from the Reversoverse, which is what Morrison often refers to as the antimatter universe. The Quaman. And it's this kind of huge demonic, half human, half cyborg thing, and it talks in reverse, kind of Zatanna style, but the lettering is unique. It's like one word per bubble. It's big yellow. It sticks out. It's death, hate, pain, kill, and it looks phenomenal. And Abin Sur's like, we must draw him away from this planet. It's you he wants, Jordan, and then he shouts out SOS. And if you remember from Multiversity, this was a thing Morrison set up in Multiversity where if you shouted out SOS, with enough will and desire, someone from the multiverse would come and help you. They would appear to help you. And so he's actually calling on the guardians of the multiverse to try and get help. And that's our final panel is three lanterns showing up. One's kind of Hal Jordan with a kind of like a torch flashlight lantern. One is a Batman one. And one is a guy I don't recognize at all. Sorry on that one. I'm not sure what that one is. But that's the end of it. Okay, there's all these different lanterns. The multiverse lanterns are here now. Presumably going straight into the next one because it'll be okay. Hal's going with them. So that'll be kind of great. I'm looking forward to that a lot. This issue was fantastic. Again, very dense. These issues are always particularly dense. This one played into Sharp's strengths even more than ever with all the the sword and shield stuff, but also all the flying creatures, the dragons, the kind of the bird things. Looked amazing, really. And I'm down for a new superhero team in space. I'm happy to. If we come back to them and see them more, and that'd be cool. Because we don't really have that. Like I say, we got the Legion in the future, but we don't have anything, present day in terms of heroes. Just the cops.
So the Earth 20 is the pulp Earth.
Ah, okay.
That we saw in Multiverse. So the Abin Sur, he looks like the devil, right?
Yep.
With the horns.
Yeah.
High collar.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
This was great. This is the sort of stuff that I think Matt would probably love if he was reading it still.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Morrison doing his full continuity multiversity stuff, but not it's not convoluted. It's actually really, by Morrison standards, very simple, and it's a straight through line here. It's not jumping around. It's not kind of pulling the rug out from under you. It's just traditional reveals, but it's just doing it in Morrison's continuity love style. So yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8.5. This was fantastic.
Well, hey. All right, we'll move on. I don't know why I came up with so much attitude there. I don't know, I'm ready to go. What can I say? We're going to move on to Batgirl 36 on a week 1, which is weird. It got pushed from last week. Oh, Matt, your mate's going again.
Is this the last issue of
I think it is, because it's the end of an arc, and I feel like we're, given when Solicits are, it feels like the time.
I wasn't sure if there was like one more epilogue issue, but I mean, with the way this ends, it didn't feel like it.
No, so Mairghread Scott writing with Paul Pelletier on the art. And, she's getting out the trap with the trio, and the issue, for the first 2/3 of it, is basically they're burning the place down because they want to kill all the witnesses that they failed so spectacular. So Batgirl's having to try and break everyone out, fight the bad guys, and get away.
And save everyone at the same time.
And save everyone. But remember who they are so she can actually, pull them up for the crimes, because they are criminals. That's why they're here.
Yeah.
So she's juggling all this. I actually quite liked a couple of the beats in this. The shark dude, like he gets hurt and he can't. She's actually gotten everyone else outside. By the time that we were ending this part, because obviously Vulture, she's been fighting a lot because Vulture's the proper evil one.
Yeah.
Fox is a bit cowardly and just kind of is like, well, you're not going to let me die, right? So you're going to save me. Okay, great. And he runs for it. But she tries to get Shark up, but he's too heavy, and she's like, well, you're going to have to answer that. I can't. And he actually pushes her out of the building as stuff falls on top of him and killing him. And it goes a bit on the nose with it afterwards, where she kind of questions, was that like some sort of atonement? Was he trying to redeem himself in the last moment? Was it like, who he really was inside kind of thing? But the moment itself worked for me. I was like, oh, that was kind of sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was nice.
So I like that part.
Have we seen Shark do much actual killing? Because obviously they're all ruthless business people, and we know Vulture was a bit out there, but Fox and Shark seemed a little bit kind of horrified by Vulture, eating the skull before.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like they were out and out killers. They kind of expected Batgirl to kind of probably get away with it.
Vulture's not letting any loose ends go. That's why it's. It was. I hope we get more of this, because I want to know who Vulture is, because there seems to be a familiarity with Babs, or at least Batgirl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the last chunk of the book is mainly clearing up the other stuff. She gets her stuff from Thingy's apartment. What's his name? Bard. Thank you. And she gets her stuff. Canary's set her up with an apartment. Our landlady's kind of a old-timey person who's always angry, but that's okay. And she, she's got a new place. So it's kind of set her up in a relatively fresh status quo.
Yeah, and she's in the Narrows now, so she's kind of back in the thick of it instead of in Burnside, like the nicer area.
Yeah.
Get out of that hipster place.
Yeah.
We're getting gritty Batgirl now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And the tech company, she's kind of like, you know what, maybe this isn't what I was meant to be doing anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, it really feels like this is wiping the slate clean for the next writer, and it's not so much that this was even Mairghread Scott who set a lot of this stuff up. I mean, obviously the plots that she's been going through are, but the tech company is something that's been sticking around for ages now.
That came from the move to Burnside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this kind of feels like the end of the Burnside chapter. I know it kind of felt a little bit different lately anyway. We've been having different costume stuff, but this does feel like the definitive end of the Burnside saga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that because I mean, I've enjoyed it since Rebirth started. I think Batgirl's been a relatively solid book.
As long as she doesn't defeat people using QR codes, we'll be good.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of will Castellucci be, will she be good at writing Babs? So hopefully we'll find out next issue. But my complaints about that are just the same as usual. I think Pelletier's faces are a bit weird, especially that last page where Batgirl's like coming towards us, and it's like the big full page spread, and she's like, "I've got hope for the future," and I'm like, "Oh, your face."
Yep, I hear you on that one.
Yeah, I just don't dislike his faces as much as you do for whatever reason.
Like, I'm not getting hope from this, Baz. I'm getting like utter horror,
Horror.
disfigurement of your
No,
face.
she's smiling. She's swinging. She's happy.
Aye, some serial killers smell before they gut you as well. It doesn't change the fact that it's horrifying.
I give up. Give up. We won't have to argue about this next issue. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll get a new team on next issue. Yeah, but I liked all the beats that they played out. I don't have a whole lot of like deep analysis for this one. It's just kind of it does what it does.
It very much is okay. We're kind of at the end here. Let's wrap it up. I say 2/3 of the issue are wrapping up the ongoing plot, which is really good stuff for the most part. And then the last few pages are okay, clean slate. It's very there's nothing particularly strong with the emotional beats of it. It's just okay, logistically we're this is where we need to be.
Well, I was surprised though that the moment with Shark that I was saying about how him pushing her out the way actually kind of it was kind of a touching little moment. It's like I think I'm so impressed with that because I don't think I ever expected that given up until this point with this 3-issue arc that we've had with these characters. I don't think I ever expected like one of them's gonna have a poignant little moment where they kind of turn a new leaf before death. I never really expected anything like that. So credit where credit is due. Anything else we want to add before we rate? No.
No, I'd just say as Scott's thing is not been a long run, but I mean,
2 or 3 arcs it's been
yeah, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, no, there was. I think it was quite promising at the start. I think it was fairly solid throughout. I think Larson definitely had higher highs though.
Definitely
throughout her run. So.
Do we think that this change in status quo has anything to do with Event Leviathan? Because remember, Leviathan offered Babs.
I actually don't think so. I feel like this has got more to do with whatever the direction for Batman's going to be in January.
Okay.
That'd be my guess.
That makes sense.
Yeah, could be. Honestly, I feel like maybe just editorial have decided, you know what, Burnside has kind of run its course. Let's kind of get back to that back to basics approach that is typically what we see when they do something a bit more out there. It's like, right, okay, back to your roots. This kind of feels like that to me. So it's just Burnside's been going on for 5-6 years now.
Yeah. Wasn't it part of the kind of DCU? OIU?
It was like issue 30 something of the New 52 run.
Yeah,
so.
It might have been you. So maybe 5 years.
Yeah, it was 3 years into the 24. Yeah, about 5 years. That's right. I was going to say that sounds far too long, but it's not when I think about it.
No.
So there you go. What are you rating it, Matt? What are you rating this issue? Issue 20.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
36 rather, not 26. You give it a 7, Connor?
7.5.
Yeah, I'll go with a 7 as well. I'd probably go with the 7.5 too, but this Pelletier's mouths, no.
Yes, we know.
Half a point just for that. All right, so that'll take us on to a book, The Match, that I'm still reading, and that is Adventures of the Super Sons, issue 12. Peter J. Tomasi writing with Carlos Barberi on the art.
Final issue of that, right?
Yeah, final issue. Yeah.
This is the de facto end of Tomasi's super stuff, because this goes back and ties in stuff from Superman with the cube, the hypercube. And basically all the weirdness comes from this cube. Tomasi kind of, I felt like he was cribbing from the cubic stuff over at Marvel, where the cosmic cube had become sentient. Because that's what happened here, is the hypercube, basically from all this adventures that were going on around John and Damian and it being in the fortress, it had absorbed all this energy and it decided that it needed to do something with it. So it basically created Rex Luthor. It created his planet of these wannabes, and it became a Frankenstein's monster scenario when Rex decided he wanted to take over, basically, the universe. And all of these adventures was the hypercube through this series, was it trying to fix itself by getting John and Damian. So the older versions we've seen, Space Cabbie, Tommy Tomorrow, all of that came from the hypercube. But a lot like what we would have with Shane over in Justice League, these are possibilities, which doesn't mean they're not any less real. But we find all this out when the hypercube pulls John and Damian in. So they end up devising a plan to defeat Rex. And to do that, you remember in the first issue, there's the puppeteer, and the puppeteer got killed.
Yeah.
And that was us. That they pull him from right about when he's going to die. And by doing that, it upsets, everything that has kind of happened. And basically return everything to normal before Rex can get a chance, which of course pisses off Rex. But then, the older versions of them and Tommy Tomorrow come in, the Jonah Hex robot, and help the boys save the day. And they end up coming back to Earth with the puppeteer, so he never died. And they're going to talk about how this was supposed to be the summer of Super. And right as they get back, Alfred comes into the room and wakes them up, and school's starting. So they missed out their whole summer on this cross-dimensional thing. But they end up basically giving Hypercube this basically reality to play around with, and gives them all these memories, so it doesn't create another Rex situation. So that's what you see. Remember, you had the old versions telling the stories of the adventures of the Super Sons. That's the cube basically acting these things out, as to not create another Rex Luthor scenario. So it all kind of wraps up. You get a couple panels that show the Tomasi stuff from before, from that Super Sons run. So they talk about that planet they went to, where they're the superheroes. There's they talk about the Slaughter Swamp stuff from his run with the telekinetic guy. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Manchester Black. So, but yeah, it was a nice fitting end to it. But you kind of feel like it's just in a holding pattern, because once Bendis was coming through and he had different plans for John, kind of wipes all this out,
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's not out of continuity, but it does feel like...
but yeah,
Kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
this could have been the next 12 issues of Super Sons, but because of what had happened, they decided to make it a maxi, and the art's fine, art's consistent, but yeah, the seeing how it tied everything together was pretty cool. So
No,
that's Adventure of Super Sons.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I read of it. It just wasn't like a must-read thing every month. So once I fell behind, I just didn't catch back up again. Yeah, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it a 7.5. It's the mess that was created before, still kind of there. It's almost like he wrote himself into a corner and then had to figure out how to get out of it. But I mean, he kind of did. But yeah, the whole sentient cube thing, like Marvel just did that a couple years ago. I think it's weird that that's the idea he decided to bring to the table.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So that'll take us on to the final book of the week, and it is the first of the Walmart reprints. Because they did the 12-issue kind of 12-page stories in those 100-page giants over a year. They weren't released in any other way, but now they're being reprinted as slightly bigger issues where 2 parts are in each issue. This is the Tom King Superman story. They're calling this Superman Up in the Sky. This is issue 1, of course. Andy Kubert's on the art. So me and Connor read this.
Yeah, and these are out of continuity tales.
Yeah, out of continuity. And because there's little things like Clark's parents are still alive, and things like that just there doesn't seem to be a John anywhere. It's just kind of
Not out of continuity for much longer. Just give Doomsday Clock some time.
So, and it is very much part 1 and 2 of a story. There's a little part 2 where the second part starts, where it would have been split up originally. So this story is I actually laughed because the first line of narration is actually Batman, and it just made me laugh because it's Tom King and he's been writing Batman for years, and like he's done a Superman story, and the first thing he does is Batman narration. But it's Batman actually calling in Superman because there's been a horrible murder in Gotham. And this couple were killed, but they were foster parents. And of the 4 girls who they were fostering, 2 of them were killed too. 1 is missing, and 1 is in the hospital with a bullet wound. And he calls in Clark to say, hey, can you go and speak to the girl who's in the hospital? I was like, okay, that's kind of sweet. and he tells her this story about how the girl who's missing, like, kind of stole her Superman toy, because Superman's her favorite.
Yeah, but yeah, basically, the neighbor gave them all superhero toys, and hers was actually the Superman one. But her sister Alice, always took it off her because Superman was her favorite, so she got stuck with someone else.
Yeah, so the story of this issue, because the girl eventually dies as well. We find out like 2-3 days later that the girl passes away in hospital. But the story here is that Superman tries to look into what happened. Someone, because she says the guy was in like a space suit of some kind.
Yeah, he was in a spaceman suit, and and he took her, and he goes, "Oh, where did he take her?" She goes, "Oh, up in the sky."
Yeah, so he asked like Green Lantern and like Adam Strange, because it may be like Zeta Beam tech, or whatever, what's going on, and they're like, "Oh, it's going to be impossible to find her. Like, we don't know where to look," kind of thing. So the story of these two parts in this issue is basically Superman struggling with the dilemma of, should he leave Earth for what could be months to try and save one little girl?
Yeah, and leave Earth undefended, because it constantly shows us there's stuff constantly going on. Perry doesn't want him to take any time off to go and cover this in Gotham, because it's like, no, it's Gotham, who cares?
Yeah.
And then even Lois is like, yeah, but knowing our luck, as soon as you go, Lex and Brainiac will all attack in that week.
Yeah, and she's like, I'll try not to fall off any buildings while you're gone. I'm not promising anything, but I'll try.
Yeah, she's like, it's kind of a character trait, but I'll try.
But the one person who kind of pep talks him into going in a way is actually Jonathan Kent. It's he's talking to him. He doesn't say you should go as such, but he kind of just sort of reiterates how important and how he can't just let one person go. It's like, I can't save everyone. Well, no, but you could save her.
It's constant. It's that class. They need me here, and he's like, yeah, suppose they do. So I can't just go flying off after one girl. No, I suppose you can't. And so in class, they'll find her. He goes, yeah, suppose they will.
Yeah, but
unless they don't.
But he finds out the other girl died, and he actually the first part ends with him flying off into space, and he's going. And then the second part is he goes to Ran and basically wants to look through their records of Zeta Beam, just usage,
and they're like, they because we learned earlier in the first part that they weren't giving the Green Lanterns access to the data. And it turns out it's not just that they're being awkward, it's that they have so much data of every Zeta, everywhere at once, that tracking it is kind of impossible. They brought in like this third level computer. The first level is used to build stars. Third level is beyond Superman's understanding. After 2 minutes, it just self-destructed, destroyed all its code, and just left one line saying, "I can't."
Yeah, so Superman hooks himself into it, and the guy's like, "No, you're going to die. Like, if you do this, you're going to die."
It wasn't just going to die; he'll go mad as well.
Yeah. So I didn't like the second part as much, because a lot of the second part was like, once he puts the thing on, it's like a lot of random scenes of him in a dream world.
Yeah, and some of them were in like Lois and the spelling. How many R's in corrupt? How many L's in politician?
Yeah.
How many M's in peach? There should be a machine that does this for you.
Yeah, there is Lois.
There is. It's class you.
But the whole point is that he eventually sees a little girl in the Zeta Beam dream world, and she mentions kind of not saying that's where, but mentions the planet that they're going to, that the guy was taking her to, so he knows where to go. So we end the second part with him knowing where to go now. So that's kind of the first two parts in this issue. Did you like it? How did you feel about this?
Yeah, I liked the first part a lot. Second part, the disconnected scenes I was feeling just a bit meandering. I thought mostly, Hairsine has a problem with Tom King and the voices sounding similar.
Mm-hmm.
Most characters were fine, but weirdly, Batman and Superman both sounded pretty much identical, which was a bit annoying. It wasn't like Superman and everyone else though, which is what most of the issue actually is. They were kind of pretty distinct, but those two kind of sounded pretty much the same, which was a little frustrating.
I did like, actually, before he leaves, Superman's like, how do I even try and find her? And Batman's like, well, just do what I do, but do it up there. Like, follow the clues, follow the path of logic, and you'll get to her. He's giving him detective advice, basically. I actually quite liked it. I do agree. I think the second part was weaker because of the the stuff in the Zeta beam like data was a bit, just whatever. But
meandering, wasn't it?
I actually really liked the first part a lot, and I like the general concept of what it is and what it's doing.
And how long has it been since we've had a good John Kent speech?
It's been a while. And obviously this came out like a year ago or whatever, but like it's nice to be reminded that King can actually do a nice, compelling story.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It is possible he can do those.
Yeah, no, I'm down for reading issue 2 and seeing where it goes.
Too.
Because I feel like the whole in the Zeta beam thing or the data was like, okay, that's done now. So unless he comes up with another reason to do like another meandering like thing like that.
Yeah, I hope not. But now it should be just right. Follow the lead, save the girl, which is like Batman said in theory.
Yeah, maybe it helps it actually that we got it as like 2 parts at once because it wasn't just on its own. If we had that on its own, it may be a bit more.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot more frustrating if you got just that.
But because we got 2 of them together. I feel a lot more positive about it after the fact.
I think Kubert does a great job, and Anderson in the colors is particularly fantastic. The dark oranges, the sunset in Gotham, and then all the stuff in space, and it looks great.
I just add on here at the end. I love the idea of Batman calling in Superman, not because there's something heavy that he's picked up. But because his personality is needed, like his, how he speaks to people is needed. I think is a really interesting idea. It's a morale thing for someone. So,
yeah.
I thought that was a really interesting idea. What are you giving it?
I'll just about give it an 8. I think because I quite like the art. If that second part had been better, it probably would have been higher.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 as well. I think it was solid. I'm looking forward to trying out some of these other Walmart specials. I mean, some I'm sure I'll stick with, some I won't. But I think I'm down to try issue 2 of this and see where it's going.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that actually brings an end to the books this week, which takes us on to the part of the show where we pick our favourite stuff of the week. We do a favourite panel/moment, favourite cover, favourite artist, and top 5 books. So that's what we're going to do right now. So we will start off with best cover, which basically in this context is which Lois Lane cover do you like the most? So Matt,
how dare you?
What are you picking, Matt?
I'm going the main cover.
Yeah, I am too. The variant's pretty, don't get me wrong, but that main cover with the moodiness and the burned S in the newspaper, I love it.
You're both wrong, because the correct answer is the regular Green Lantern cover.
Sure.
Nah. Lois.
Oh,
Lois
come on, that regular Green Lantern cover. Pete, you've probably not even seen it. Go and look.
I've got
fantastic.
I've got it up.
Brilliant cover. Yeah, but you haven't looked at it.
I'm looking at it
because you
now.
didn't read it. You didn't look.
I'm looking at it now. Right. It's not bad. Yeah, man, it's good. I still like the Lois one better.
Uh-huh.
Still like the Lois one better. I like the Batgirl variant as well, actually, if we're just mentioning other ones.
Is it another, what's his name one? Middleton.
I don't know if it is. I think it's someone emulating.
It is.
Is it him? Okay. I know it's changing at some point. Because
that's a Middleton one.
Yeah, because we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, that's covers. Best. We usually start with panel/moment. I don't know why I changed it this week. Panel/moment, Matt. What do you go for?
It's the final page of Lois Lane, where she's confidently walking out of the White House after inspiring an insurrection of the press.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that, Connor.
I'm probably going to go with that panel from Justice League with Superman, with the suns behind him, talking about making a difference.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Superman entering the barn and DCeased. There's just a lot of weight to that panel as he's walking in there to see his dead dad. Well, his undead dad. I should be more specific. Yeah. Favorite art to wake up Matt a bit. What you got?
I'm going DCeased. I think the tone was great in Lois Lane, but I think DCeased had a lot of really good moments in there told through the art, from the sea stuff to the one that Pete talked about with the barn. I think there's a lot of really good visual storytelling there.
All right, Connor.
DCeased was a great choice. I think I'm gonna just give it to Green Lantern though. Sharp's killing it with the fantasy. The fantasy stuff is kind of him at his peak, and the colors were phenomenal this issue as well.
He picked Liam Sharp's Green Lantern again. What a shock! I'm shocked over here.
Hey, Liam Sharp is fantastic. What do you want me to say?
It's hard to argue with.
For best art, I will probably go with Lois Lane. Well, it might not be the complete knockout of the park. I actually have more issues with all the other books I read, I think, art-wise.
What about Up in the Sky?
Up in the Sky is pretty good. I think I like the moodiness of Lois more, though.
Yeah, because I just think you didn't actually talk about any art issues in that book.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably my second favorite, and then everything else is kind of like, I don't love Hairsine that much. I definitely don't like Pelletier that much, and then Justice League was pretty inconsistent and had a couple of dodgy pages.
Yeah.
So, all right. So top 5 books of the week then, Matt.
Oh man, I'm gonna take a nap after this. I'm gonna go Lois Lane, number 1. Number 2 is DCeased. Number 3 is Justice League. Number 4 is Super Sons. Number 5 is Batgirl.
All right, Connor.
Number 1's DCeased. 2's Green Lantern. 3 Lois Lane. 4 Superman Up in the Sky. 5 Batgirl.
My number 1 is Lois Lane. Number 2 is DCeased. Number 3 is Superman Up in the Sky. Number 4 is Batgirl. Number 5 is Justice League, which is all the books I read. I only had 5.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
but no, really good. So that is our top picks of the week. And I did ask on the Twitters. Again, I left it a little bit late, so it's not like a horde of people this week. But we do have some people giving us our favourites.
Pretty sure you forgot to read it out last week, even though you tweeted it.
Shut up. We have an even split between Lois Lane and DCeased, which is not a huge surprise, I don't think.
Seems relatively representative, doesn't it?
Yeah, a couple from the DCeased side of the argument, at Corey YNWA, probably DCeased in a quiet week, although I'm looking forward to Lois Lane when it gets started. I think what he means is the plot's not really started yet.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised not to see anyone saying Green Lantern, but I'm just going to attribute that to you leaving it so late.
Yeah. At Glenn Reeves Comics, DCeased. Why? Same as the last 2 issues. It's phenomenal, and it's at Tom Taylor which is all it needs to be said, really. So there you go. And then on the Lois side of the argument, we have Lois Lane issue 1. This is from at Crying the Real 7. Lois Lane issue 1. Why? Because her superpowers are most relevant and desperately needed in today's world. Very well put. And at Com Factor, Lois Lane issue 1. I wasn't planning on reading this series, but I picked it up since it was a light week for books. I loved it and will be sure to keep checking it out. I loved how it involved current politics without being agenda-based like Marvel. Shade thrown there. I also love romance with Clark. There you go. So, there you go. So yeah, DCeased and Lois Lane are the 2 winners this week. So, there you go.
Cool.
So I'll tell you what's coming next week. That's usually what I do now, right?
It is, yeah.
Right, so coming next week, we have Batman 74. We have Batman and the Outsiders issue 3. We have Batman Universe issue 1. That's the Walmart reprint. So that's the Bendis Batman story. So I'll definitely be trying that. Seeing how that is.
Connor too.
We have Catwoman 13. We will not be covering that, of course. We have Detective Comics 1007, which I think we've all officially dropped as well. I thought you were shaking my head there because you were saying it's not out next week. I'm like, Matt, I'm looking at Diamond. I see it.
No, I think he's shaking his head because, God damn it, none of us are reading Detective. What the hell's going on?
I know, which is weird. I got excited there for a second because I saw Doomsday Clock and then second printing. I was like, damn it.
Yep, I did too. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah, me too.
We got Event Leviathan issue 2. We got The Flash 74. We have Justice League
Hawkman.
Odyssey issue 11.
Whoa. Where are you going?
Yep. Hey, skip the Hawkman.
Oh, sorry, Hawkman 14. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you don't read Justice League Odyssey.
Your eyes jump over it. I know. Naomi issue 6 is finally out next week, which means we actually have like 3 Bendis books next week, I think. Connor's favourite, Red Hood Outlaw issue 36 is out next week.
How dare you?
We got Supergirl 32, Superman 13. We have Wonder Twins issue 6, which It still says off 6, but that got extended, right?
It did get extended.
Yeah.
They've just not updated it on here.
Yeah. Wonder Woman 74 and Young Justice issue 7. So it's a pretty meaty week. We'll be not
So
needing...
that's 4 Bendis books, isn't it?
Well, Young Justice, Event Leviathan,
Yeah,
Superman.
Superman and Naomi.
Oh, I 4. There you go. Spend this week.
Hey, Batman Universe.
Oh, technically 5.
What was that last one? I didn't get it through my
Batman, Batman
Sorry.
Universe.
Yeah.
Christ, half the bloody show next week.
Oh man.
I've got a quiet week
Cover-
next week, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Covers for next week are pretty strong on the
Yeah,
Young
they're-
Justice side.
They're knocking out the cardstock variants now next week, aren't they? So
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh man, that's a Riley Rosmo that looks a lot better in thumbnail.
where's the Riley Rosmo one?
Young Justice.
Variant
Jeez.
or
Variant.
regular?
I'm glad I dropped the Detective because I've still got 11 books next week. This is the problem with them delaying every goddamn Bendis book until this week, the bastards.
How many have I got? Because I've got no Bendis, so it's presumably a lot less.
About 6-ish. Maybe 7 with Hawkman. Look at Matt.
6.
Matt's terrified. He's over there counting. He's like, no, this is too
I
many.
have 11 as well.
Do you know what? I think for the first time in like months, I'm going to have to actually read some before Saturday because I'm not reading 11 on Saturday.
Oh god, and I have a Gwen Stefani concert to go to Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm
That's-
pretty sure I'm working next Saturday.
that's such a random sentence as well.
Well, because
Saturday.
usually I can get stuff, but I'm not going to be able to have time to read on Wednesday night like I normally would.
Yeah. Well, busy week next week, so brace yourselves for that. So, Joey the funny thing is, though, is
No
we're going
questions next week, then.
we're going to go from 11 next week to like 4 the following week.
I actually have no idea what we're expecting on week 3 at the minute.
Not a lot. So but yeah, next week's going to be busy. So even the books are a little bit DC. I mean, that'd be nice. Like, see if they delayed books from like a busy week to a quiet week, we would not be complaining. But they delayed books from quiet weeks to the busy week.
Yeah. So which ones of these were officially delayed? Obviously Batman.
Batman, Naomi, and Young
Naomi?
Justice are all delays.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Young Justice was supposed to come out this week, and it got pushed by a week.
Yeah, Naomi was
Right.
meant to be like week 3 last month, and it got
Yeah.
pushed.
Oh, okay. See, obviously these ones I don't read, so I haven't paid attention.
So,
I
that's
didn't
3
realise.
books that were pushed. Plus, we got Batman Universe, which is new. So those are the why. Well, for me anyway. Obviously, for Matt, it's not because he's got Hawkman. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's what's coming next week. So hell of a gauntlet.
What if I just don't read Batman?
Still have 10.
Would my completionist brain let me?
Well, I'll let you stop reading Detective.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that was like, because I had a nice clean ending at 1,000.
yeah, but this is like he's been reading since issue 1. He has issue 1 through like almost 80.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think he's gonna have to read it, but we'll see.
I'm gonna read it. It's a fun thought experiment.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily blame you if you didn't, but
Yeah.
um,
Well, I was thinking about maybe I'll pick up the Bendis Batman book because, why not?
But-
Not with 11 other books.
yeah, 12. You'd have 12 books if you did that next week. So that has been episode 162. There you go, 162 of Comics from the Multiverse. Thank you very much for joining us, and you can of course support the show by rating us on your podcast app, Apple Podcasts or whatever. Helps more people find the show if you give it a 5-star rating and a little review, so you can do that. You can also of course go to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV and support us financially for as little as $1 per month and keep the show coming. You could do that. As for other things we do that you may want to check out outside of the comic book stuff, me and Cara do television from the Multiverse every week where we talk about the DC TV shows, so that's obviously relevant. But we do a lot of other stuff as well, a lot of our TV review stuff and movie review stuff. If you like horror movies, we have the horror movie podcast,
Yeah.
Screams After Midnight.
We talked a lot at the start, Stranger Things, so obviously that's going
Yeah.
on right now.
Yeah. So,
Should mention Too Old to Die Young because that's it's written by Brubaker.
yes, that's it. It's a very art house TV show and is a very much an acquired taste. So not everyone's going to go into that loving it, just for the
That
record.
makes me sad because I love
Worth
Ed
a try.
Brubaker.
You should try it,
Makes me
Matt.
very sad.
You should watch
No.
episode 1.
Matt, if you can get through 20 minutes, you can get through all of it.
Boy, 'cause that sounds like how I want to spend my time.
It's like a 12-hour Nicholas Winding Refn movie. It's like the
That's
best thing ever.
That's like the pizza man coming and punch you in the face and go, "Well, your day's only gonna get better from here." Pizza.
He's not wrong.
Right? Like, no, I started watching Barry from HBO on Timmy's recommendation. First season's very, very good. I have the second season to watch.
Yeah, but before you do that, you gotta get back to Legends.
After Barry, Barry are only half-hour episodes, so I can get through a whole season real fast.
Okay. You have to watch season 3 of Legends because I need reactions to Gary, Bebo, and a few other things.
I can't wait till Matt gets to the first Bebo episode. Bebo God of War.
Yeah.
It's a Viking episode that introduces Bebo.
Hell. Yeah. All hell, Bebo.
Yes. Bebo hungry. All right. That was relatively accurate, I think.
It wasn't bad, yeah.
I'm only laughing because I'm imagining that's how you're gonna run to the fridge now.
I'm not gonna lie, Matt. I'm tempted to order food tonight. I'm very hungry. I think I've earned it after a long week.
Yeah. So with the way my fasting works is it didn't last night because I had tacos at 11:30. So I woke up and got donuts.
Can I just say that your sentence there was the way my fasting works is that it didn't last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said it.
It was very intentionally said like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
just checking. Checking.
So normally I'll stop eating at 7, but late night, whatever. And then I won't eat again on Saturdays until we're done recording. That said, I had breakfast this morning. We got donuts and coffee, and now I'm hungry, which I've never, you know what I mean? So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might try to
You're gonna
get some
eat is what
pizza.
you're gonna do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, that has been the show, and what a wacky show it's been. Ups and downs all over the place. Let's we take in the books in the comments and all the other jazz that I usually say. Thank you very much once again for watching or listening and supporting the show. Keep reading DC Comics, but remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Long live the Legion.